Hey folks, just want to say welcome back or welcome to 2025 to 2026 and the school year that we got ahead of us here. It feels like a weird number to say that we're actually going to get into 2026, but yeah, it's happening for sure. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brian. I'm the Assistant Director of Technology for Haverhill Public Schools, entering my, I think it's 14th year as we get into this school year here. So I hope you're excited. If you're new to the district, welcome. And I hope everything's kind of getting started smooth as we launch forward for this new school year. So we're going to continue our communication as we do in technology with monthly newsletters. This is naturally the first of the school year. So keep an eye out for these as we continue. They'll always come out at the beginning of the month, and we focus on just important updates, things that you need to know in terms of the day-to-day related tasks with technology, any updates or new procedures, and certainly new features or new tips and tricks for the different tools that we have as we go through our school year. Got a lot of stuff to cover today. I'm going to breeze through it pretty quickly just to kind of respect your time as we go through. And I got my little to-do list on the side as we go through this, but just keep an eye on any of the links either below in this video or from the actual newsletter that's sent out if you need a little extra reference for anything that I'm talking about today. So again, welcome to the school year. I hope that it starts smoothly for you, and welcome back if I haven't seen you in a while. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is just class rosters and syncing and some relevant action steps for you. So SchoolBrains is our source of truth. Any schedules that we have input in there by your building administration are what gets synced to a lot of our platforms and a lot of our curriculum systems. So as schedules are updated in SchoolBrains, they can take up to 48 hours for those changes to be reflected everywhere. So whether you're using like an iReady system or using Google Classroom or Remind or any of these systems that receive our data automatically, just note that if a new student is added or removed, it can take up to 48 hours for those changes to be reflected across all the systems. So just keep that in mind. With that, there are a couple action steps that as a classroom teacher you want to take should you use these resources. So the first would be with Google Classroom. Google Classroom is one of those resources that will automatically sync your class roster, but you do need to accept that. And so if you're a classroom teacher that has a scheduled class, check your email for a Little Sis Premium. That's the tool we use to sync these classes over. Follow the instructions in that email or look at our knowledge base document. And basically, you just accept which classes you want to automatically go to Google Classroom, and then you'll be in business from there, and you'll receive automatic roster updates from that. The second would be also for Remind. There's an action step there where if you just go to your class link, log into Remind. If you're a classroom teacher with scheduled classes, you'll have the chance to accept the classes automatically so that you have that communication chain ready to go up and running for the new school year. If you're like an elementary school teacher who might have like 6 or 7 different sections there with all the same students in them, naturally you might only need to accept one of those classes, like the homeroom, for example, just to keep it nice and contained as a smooth communication for you. Our next section here is talking about just extra information and some reminders as well as we look forward to this school year. So the first is just a new option that's available to us this year. At the end of last school year, or sometime over the summer, the school committee approved a artificial intelligence or AI policy. And I'd want us all to be aware of that because it kind of describes what the expectations are and boundaries and guardrails for use in our district. And so if you go to our district website and go to departments and technology, we have a policy section in here. And right first in the list is our artificial intelligence policy. And so I'd encourage you all to check that out. It's a relatively easy read. It's not too much legalese in there, but it, like I said, it gives us some boundaries and some guardrails and things to know related to using AI tools. In short, we do have the ability to use them as staff members right now. And with some considerations in terms of student data and privacy and things of that nature, and some best practices, of course. We'll probably talk more about this as we go across the school year in subsequent newsletters, just in terms of some ways to utilize these tools, because they're some of it's pretty exciting. There's certainly not a human replacer, but they can help us work a little smarter, not harder sometimes, with some of the tools that are available there. What I would encourage you to is just use the ones that are provided by the district as a starting point if you've never dabbled in them before. And so that would be Google's Gemini platform or Google's Notebook LM platform. So Gemini is kind of that open-ended prompt where you can add some commentary to it and have it generate some content or ask it some questions to create some materials, whereas Notebook LM is a resource aggregator where you can give it a bunch of resources, ask questions about that data, get some summaries of things, have it generate some content based on resources that you provide. So just to explore those with the knowledge of what the policy says as a starting point. And then again, we'll probably talk about this a little bit throughout the course of the year, even more so. But it's a good starting point just to dabble in this world of AI and see what it can be used for and what good things are possible there. The next FYI and a reminder as well is you got an email from our Director of Technology about training opportunities that are available here for cybersecurity. And it's from a company called KnowBe4. And so just check back in your email to see if you got that. And you can go and take that training. I know we're all given some time to make sure that that happens over the next week or so. And it's just good reminders on how to manage ourselves with best practices in this digital world that we live in. Everything from spam and phishing detection, suspicious activity, errant notifications, malware stuff, etc. And it talks about some data privacy stuff as well. And with that, data privacy is the kind of the next FYI / reminder that I want to put out there for us here. We are very conscious of data privacy regulations in our world, in my department especially, because it's a big responsibility to not only try to protect our data and your data as staff members, but certainly student data as well. And so with that, it's a reminder that all of the tools that we use online require a data privacy agreement, number one, and they also require curriculum approval. And we have a curated list of that you can check online. It's directly linked off of our technology website as well. And it's the first place to go if you're looking to use a website resource. Because not everything is just available or allowed to be used, even if you can see it online, right? And so let's just, for example, say you want to use Kahoot. Nice little interactive gaming type of platform here. If we search for Kahoot, we can see that it's in our list and it is approved. So that it means that it's you can use it without having any data privacy considerations, and it's approved by curriculum as well. If you stumble into a new tool that you want to use that's not just directly available to you, like via ClassLink or similar, this is the first place you want to go. You want to head here first to see if it's in the list. You'll see if it's approved or not. You'll see any status of that. And if it's not in this list, we'd ask that you put in a support ticket and just request. Give us a link to it. And then we'll begin that vetting process where we'll check on the data privacy aspect of it. We'll then vet that, and then we can pass it off to curriculum from there for their approval. But again, this is the first place to go if you want to use any resource that involves student information, even if it's just initials, if it's just a couple numbers that identify a student, anything that has potential identifiable information needs to go through this vetted process. The other reminder I have for us is a new protocol that came live last year, and it's related to YouTube access. And it kind of ties right in with data privacy. YouTube does not fall under the normal Google umbrella. It doesn't comply with the data privacy regulations that we have to follow. And as such, students cannot directly visit YouTube on their own. While this can be a good thing for focus sake and whatever, there are naturally are resources in YouTube that you do want to share, and that is possible. We just need to make sure we're doing it in a accessible way for students. And so, if students can't directly visit YouTube on their own, that means that they can't be given a link to go visit it on their own as well. And so what we need to do is use the platforms that we have. Anytime there is an embedded YouTube content, that will play for students, and that is accessible. And so, for example, in Google Classroom, I can come to an announcement, I can click the YouTube button. Don't click the link button for a YouTube video because that just gives a link to get there. But let's click the YouTube video button built in here. You search for what you want to share. And naturally it searches YouTube, you grab the video that you want, and then you can bring that right in. And when I post this here, it would actually be embedded within Classroom, and then it is accessible for students. Almost all of Google's tools have this ability to embed a video, whether you're slides or forms or naturally Classroom. And there are other tools out there like Google Sites, et cetera, that give embed features as well. So just be in mind that that is what you would want to do to share YouTube content, should you desire to do so. The other way to do that would be through Screencastify's premium library feature, where it allows us to actually go in to Screencastify, bring in a YouTube video, add questions to it, add pause points, do some check for knowledge types of things. Even gives us some watch statistics for students. So some really interesting things you can do just by bringing a YouTube video in, but you're bringing it through the Screencastify platform and then either giving a link or an embed option for that directly to students. So you're bringing them kind of through Screencastify instead of directly to YouTube. So definitely options for how to share content on there. Just a reminder that you just don't give a direct link to students because they won't be able to get to it. And then with that, let's get into available tools. Just as a reminder, what's available to us. I mentioned Screencastify, I think a couple times here. That's available to us as staff members to just get in. We can record video. It's a platform that lets us edit video as well. We can do screen recordings like I'm doing here today. So it can be a great flipped classroom tool, blended classroom tool. It can be a great homework help tool. It can be a great communication tool as well. One of the features that Screencastify has that we have as part of our license is that if we record a video, it can automatically get captions for us. It can then automatically translate those captions just from us clicking one button and say, hey, give us captions and translated captions. And so we can then send that video link out to our community, and then they have both what you recorded captioned, but then they can also change the captions to their own language as well automatically. And so that's a wonderful feature for sure. And there's also an ability to use Screencastify for student submissions. So if you want to give your students a video project, maybe you're having them introduce a favorite hobby, or you're having them give an alternative to a writing assignment, you can use their submit feature as a way to get some video content shared with you in a nice protective environment that's not so open-ended. The other tool that I want to make sure we all are aware of that we have the ability to use is Canva. Very popular design tool that you can use to make any digital posters or graphics and presentations, etc. It's available as an on-demand app, meaning that if we're in our class link, you can just go to Add Apps, pick your category here, either HPS staff, of course, in our case, or if you're a student, you'd see the relative grade level there. And then you just hit add, and then you can sign in and start creating content right away from there. Great little tool that's available to us that can really get some creative productivity out there, whether it's for yourself or getting your students involved as well. And then the last thing I want to share before I get into just the reminders of our support resources are just some cleanup tasks to start us off on the right foot this school year. The couple things that we always encourage you to do would be number one, to archive your old classrooms in Google. So if you're in Google Classroom at your front grid view here, you have all of your classes that you might have had in previous years. If you haven't already, hit the triple dots on your old class and hit archive. It doesn't delete anything, but it gets it out of your live view, so you have a clean set for the school year. And archiving still allows you to pull content in from previous years. And so you're not losing anything other than giving yourself an efficient workflow to get started for this school year. So archive your old Google Classrooms. We'd also recommend to go through your email. It's a great way to use labels this time of year, and perhaps you just want to clear out a bunch of old emails from last year or prior to. You can do a quick filter in that top part of Gmail, look for emails past a certain date, assign them all a label, and get them out of your inbox. And so you have a clean view to start this school year. It can be a great way to start fresh. And the same thing with Google Drive. That's another cleanup task we recommend. If you haven't already created folders for this year, gotten your content structure ready to go so that you can create as you go, organize as you go, that's a great starting point for this year as well. And then we also have the ability to clear your browsing data. So from the triple dots, you can hit delete browsing data, get rid of the cookies and the cache and archived images and just stuff that gets in the way of having a fresh internet experience. If you haven't done that in a while, go ahead and do that. We recommend doing that at least once a month, if not more often, just because stuff piles up over time for sure. And then finally, with a cleanup task for Google, if you click your name in the corner of any Google page and go to manage your Google account, they have a security setting here that does a checkup, a security checkup. And it'll give you any warnings that it might want you to update, whether it's a saved password that's not a secure one, or a website that you were still signed into, or on a device that you don't need to anymore. It'll give you some info on here on any action steps that would be related to your Haverhill provided Google account, and a good place to kind of just double check that everything's up and running as it should, based on your cybersecurity training, right? All right, and then finally, just to kind of wrap up the newsletter for today, just our support resources. If you're new here or you just need that reminder that our ticket system from our Launchpad to HPS Tech Support is the way to get a hold of us in technology. That is our bread and butter and what we do on a day-to-day. We start with what tickets come in, and we divvy up and address them as best we can each and every day. And so, as we like to say, just ticket us up with any questions, with any issues, something goes wrong, or you, like I said, just for questions. If you said, "Hey, Brian said something, and I just need a little bit more of an explanation," we can help you via the tickets for a lot of things. And just a reminder too that you can submit tickets for your peers as well, or for your students. So help each other by submitting tickets on each other's behalf if you need to, just as a way to make sure everybody's getting the support that they need to keep things up and running. And then with that too, if you can't get the answer over the ticket, or in the knowledge base area there, you don't have the question answered, check out the iSchool website, because this is that kind of next level of training that we provide in the form of information about training phases. We have a philosophy behind essential technology that we all need to do our job well, to kind of progressing to integrated and advancing technology skills. And so check these out for different resources of either what's expected or what's available to you, different ideas on things to integrate a little bit more if that's one of your goals for this year. And then as needed, you can make an appointment. We have both virtual and in-person appointments that we can do. You can book out in advance, and we'll have a scheduled time for that. And it's a great way to either do one-on-one trainings with one of us, or to, if you have a whole grade level group and you need to talk through something or brainstorm something as a group, we can certainly do that as well. So definitely take advantage of our support resources, whether it's via tickets or via appointments as well. All right, I got through my spiel. I think that's it for at least to start this school year here. So enjoy the start of everything. Reach out via ticket if you need help with anything. Help each other as you often do, and we'll see you next month as you get started. Good luck.